All right, what is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the CHB Podcast. Today, I'm joined with Relly back again, man. It's like your third episode in a couple months or something. It's like you're just becoming a regular member on this podcast.
Yeah, it's fun over here. I'm not gonna lie.
Because you know what, we got to say, best Cavaliers YouTubers out there. Mainly you, though. I think I'll give you the crown.
Aw. I wouldn't do the same, but
man,
I appreciate it.
But we're doing a little bit of a different podcast today, though, because we're actually looking at the NBA draft. And you see, people don't know, I gave you some homework to study the draft and give me your whole entire thoughts and opinions on it. So I thought, you know what? Let's compare them. Let's compare my draft to your draft. And I want to know, who do you have going on pick one? Because I know that's a very, very controversial thing that's going on right now.
That was crazy.
Magic. Yeah, let me know.
It's crazy because the last time we was talking about it, we was talking about what they shouldn't draft at the time. But after doing research, I've been watching a lot of footage these past couple weeks. I do think the projections of the Magic's drafting Jabari Smith is right. I think the Magic.
Oh no!
I think the Magic should do that. I really do. I really do. You know, at first I was, Chet was locked. But the more and more I start watching footage, I'm like, you know what? I can understand why Jabari Smith might be their best option.
Dude, OKC fans are sitting at home right now and they're like, thank you, because they want Chet. They want Chet so bad. And in my opinion, I think it's a mistake if the Magic take Smith, because I think what I've said multiple times is, even though Smith is the better player right now, I think long-term, Holmgren will take over, as I think you'd think the best player in the draft, but who knows? I see so many people saying Jabari Smith now. It's like, dude, he's a 6'10" power forward. He really does fit what they need. My concern as well is, where does Jonathan Isaac sit in all of this if they get Jabari Smith? Does he just get traded instantly, or?
Honestly, that's what made me actually lean towards Jabari Smith Jr. Because hypothetically, let's go off the assumption they are going to trade him, right? Because of him not being there for like 2 years, I think Jabari Smith will be the greatest replacement for Jonathan Isaac, right?
Yeah.
He would be the greatest reset, the most logical one. But at the same time, let's assume Jonathan Isaac is not traded. He gets healthier. I think Jabari Smith works the best with Jonathan Isaac. Like, even with who's the other small forward they have that actually had
Wagner.
I think he would complement him too as well. I think you could actually put all three of those players on the floor at the same time. And I think that gives the Magic's honestly a very diverse lineup, I think it's made for the Magic to do it. Honestly, yeah. I can see them go with Chet. Don't get me wrong, but I think Jabari Smith, Jonathan Isaac, and Frank and what'd you say?
Franz Wagner, yeah.
I think that's perfect, honestly.
Yeah. I'd really like what you said there with Wagner, Isaac, and Smith all being on the court at the same time. But they've got so many guards, and I feel like they need to trade one of them. But Magic fans don't want to trade Markelle Fultz. They want to keep him. And I have that issue. I feel like we've spoken about this, where I think he needs to be traded, but they're out here saying he's their best player right now. He helps them win the most games. That, for sure, could be true. But in the same time, what is the point of having Suggs on the team? You're going to draft him at pick 5 and tell me you're going to play him as the backup 2 next year. And Cole Anthony as well. Those two players need to be playing, I think, 30 minutes a game, especially if they want to develop. You can't do that if you've got Markelle Fultz there and you've got all of these now wings and forwards on the team. I just think it's a bit of an issue. And then the other thing is too, what's going to go on with their backup center, because I reckon Mo Bamba, he's gone. I don't see him staying. I think Wendell Carter in the league, I don't know if he's a starting center. I really liked what I saw from him this season at power forward. But having him as your starting center with no extra help in the interior is a big worry to me. Because I think he and Mo Bamba was able to help out in the interior when he could. And I think that made it look a little bit better than it possibly was.
I think in theory with that part, I think Wendell Carter, even though, yeah, I agree. He wouldn't be the long-term center for them. But if this goes how I kind of imagine it, I would actually put Jabari Smith 2-guard, Franz Wagner at the 3, and then Jonathan Isaac at the power forward because he's a really great defender. And yes, they still may have some problems in terms of interior, but in terms of passing lane and just players not even really making it very hard for them to even get inside there, I think that would probably be the planet or the theory behind having, because Jabari Smith Jr., he has a 7 feet wingspan.
Yeah.
So and Jonathan Isaac got long arms. So like all of them. And then I think that gives a player like Cole Anthony time to excel, because I agree with you. I think Markelle Fultz is out the door. I don't see why Orlando would really be high on him, because you also got the other one that y'all just drafted too, Jalen Suggs.
Yeah.
Like, you can't have Jalen Suggs, Markelle Fultz, and Cole Anthony excel on this team. I don't think that works.
Suggs has got a good wingspan as well. You could be, if you take Smith, you could be building a really, really good perimeter defensive team. Like Suggs there at the 1. If he plays minutes there this year, Wagner at the 2. I think Isaac would personally go to the 3, because I don't think Smith, I don't know if he'll be capable enough to go with small forwards in the NBA. I think that would be more that's something that Isaac, Jonathan Isaac would do. But either way, I don't know if it matters a whole lot. But yeah, you'd have Smith there too. The perimeter defense, I think, yeah, you definitely just be banking on that would carry, I think, your defense in games, and just hope that the interior doesn't get tarnished too much. But I like it. We're already starting off a little bit different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would have gone Holmgren, but I guess I'll explain why with the second pick, because I'll have Jabari Smith going. And I'm guessing you got Holmgren?
For number 2, yeah.
Yeah, and Holmgren on OKC is what they are praying for, I think, because dude, can you imagine that team? Like, you've already got the 3 above average height wings and a guard, and now you bring in Holmgren as well. Like, offensively, they could be absolutely insane. You probably need to get like a defensive power forward that can shoot threes, but damn, I don't know.
Because I'm about to say I did. And that's another reason, too, I was like, I couldn't see Chet going number 1, is because realistically, OKC needs Chet more than Orlando needs Chet, right? And I understand, Chet would probably be a clear favorable successor to Wendell Carter, and all the centers that they don't really, have complete faith in. But I think they have more sustainability as much as the short term than the Thunder, because they don't really got a center. Like the closest thing they kind of had to that was Moses Brown last season, and the moment they got to trade him, they got him up out of there.
Yeah,
because a lot of people thought they was going to try to develop him. They was like, no, we're not doing that. So I think Chet, honestly, I think Chet complements Shea. I think he complements Josh Giddey. I think he complements that unorthodox dynamic of OKC, where they just have a lot of unicorns on that floor.
You know what would make that OKC team even more crazy? Trading up and getting Jalen Duren. I've always said they should do this. I don't know if you've seen much of him, but he's compared to a young Dwight Howard. And can you imagine that tall team? Holmgren at the 4, Duren at the 5. Like, Holmgren can shoot. People don't know that about like him, that he's a really, really good shooter. 3-point range, he's pretty good, but his mid-range dude I think will slot into the NBA quite nicely. And if Lou Dort continues to do what he does from 3, Giddey gets a bit better, and they add some shooters off that bench, I can't see why that team wouldn't be like dominant eventually. You know what I mean? Like, it just be every position they'd have would be like above average height, you'd think, except maybe small forward.
Yeah,
so I do like that, but I would, again, on my thing, because I've got Smith going at 2, why, again, I think Smith goes at the two spot is I just think that Holmgren is too good to pass up on. Like, I think what he could be in the NBA is, I think, far greater than what Jabari Smith could be in the NBA. And I just think Orlando, I have a feeling they will take best available, which is Smith, because he's the best right now. But I think they should be looking longer term, and that's why I don't know. Orlando, to me, they're probably not smart enough to do it, but I want them to be, for my sake. And yeah, Smith on OKC would be great anyway, because first of all, he fits into that power forward spot. You can try and get Duran later on, and that would just kind of be very similar to what I said earlier. Like, I feel like Smith, I feel like he's a better 3-point shooter than I think what Holmgren might be at this time as well. The athleticism, just having that wingspan as well is, I think, something that Sam Presti is looking at. So either way, what I'm trying to say is OKC can't lose. They're getting someone great. That fits their team really, really well. So they got lucky. Very, very lucky. We've had some hard moments as Cavs fans where we've just taken best available, like Oscar Corey and Darius Garland. There was no guarantees either of them were going to work.
Yeah, we just went out with a prayer.
Yep.
Lesson and a prayer.
With the third pick, though, the Houston Rockets, who do you have going?
Now I'm going to botch his name, right?
Okay.
I'm going to botch his name.
I'll
but
correct
this is
you on it, because I've heard the name.
This is the player from Duke.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say Paolo Banchero.
I've heard it's Bankuro, is what I've heard from the comments. Yeah, they've been giving me some mean comments saying you can't pronounce
I can just
the
imagine.
CH. Yeah, I'm like, what the hell? How am I supposed to know?
Yeah, I could just imagine. Yeah.
If I was you, though, I'd keep saying Banchuro just to piss them off, to be honest, because why is his name spelled with a CH instead of a K? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I love that pick. That's who I've got going at 3.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people are taking Ivy at 3.
Yeah, man. Oh my God. I've been saying that. And when I seen that, because at first I'm like, because I promise you, before I made my list and before I really broke down, I looked at what people projected who should go. And yeah, like they said, Jaden Ivey. But for Houston, it does not make sense for you to get another guard after you have Jalen Green, you got Kevin Porter Jr., you still haven't been able to trade John Wall, you have you got Josh Christopher. You have 1,001 guards potentially that's doing the exact same thing, right? And if you get Jaden Ivey, you basically tell Kevin Porter Jr., we're getting you up out of here.
Yeah. And he will request a trade, because that's the type of guy he is. He'll throw a meltdown. He'll bash someone up in the locker room. He'll spray paint a penis on the lockers or some shit, and he'll get his way out of there.
Yeah. So I think it makes sense to get him there. And especially with the rumors of Christian Wood possibly getting traded. But even if he doesn't, I think he complements Christian Wood as well. Y'all need a little bit more size. I think he gives that, and I think he fits that Houston Rockets rebuild.
His interior defense as well is off the charts. I don't understand how a 6'10" player who plays power forward is somehow better at interior defense than nearly anyone in the class. That's impressive to me. So I think that helps out a lot with Houston. If they get his perimeter defense right, he could be a really, really good two-way player in the league. Some question if he's fast enough to do that. That could be an issue as well. His scoring is really good, though. His athleticism is really good. I've even seen someone say his workouts have been that good as well, that the most Orlando Magic move would be to take him at 1. It's the most Magic move ever. And imagine if it happened. Imagine if they took him at 1. That would be funny. I'm just saying. That would prove me and you wrong. We'd just be sitting here looking like absolute clowns now for that.
Please, Orlando, don't do that.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a disaster waiting to happen. They could have just had the third pick. The NBA gave the wrong team the win when it came to the draft lottery.
Yeah.
So
that's all I gotta say.
yeah, Houston Rockets. I'm taking Bankero as well. I think that makes the most amount of sense, unless he's off the board. Which, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if OKC did it. I would be like, okay, clearly OKC have a purpose on why they're doing it. But if Orlando do it, I'm sitting here like, what are they doing? They're not thinking. There's two different GMs. I much trust the OKC GM over Orlando. I mean, look what he did with Josh Giddey last year. Someone said Josh Giddey's weakness was basketball, and people were like, low key, people don't realize how racist they are at times. Like, people were just dissing this guy because he was Australian. What does Australian have to do with him playing basketball? So I'm going to stand up for my boy. And yeah, Sam Presti clearly made the right decision last year. And I guess OKC fans got to hope he does it this year. Unless Orlando. But yeah, pick 4, the Sacramento Kings. This is probably the hardest pick in the draft. Everyone and their dad's got someone different going on at this pick. I think I know who you might take. I've got a little bit of a different one, so I'll hear you out first.
You think so? Because you said this day before, and I think this is the only player Sacramento can draft right now.
Oh no!
Okay. I think he compliments Sabonis.
No! Oh no! All right, you go.
I think Sacramento got to take the chance and draft Jalen Duren.
What? Jalen Duren at pick 4.
At pick 4. I would draft him at pick 4 for Sacramento. I'm sorry for all the teams that thought they was gonna get him at 7 and 8 and 9, but I'm picking him at 4 because oh my god, this I heard that Dwight Howard comparison, and then I watched him play, and I kept watching him play. Yeah. He's Dwight Howard, and the crazy thing is he can shoot too.
He's got a good mid range.
He got a nice look. Man, his energy on defense is crazy. I literally seen him from the full court line chase a guard from the start of the inbound all the way to the perimeter, and he still shut down the shot. I think Sacramento, even though they got Rashad Holmes and he beat his situation, his scandal, I think Jalen Duren is a way better fit on Sacramento than Rashad Holmes.
I agree with that.
Long-term, short-term, I think he's the best. At 4, that's the best possible player. They don't need Jaden Ivey. They do not need a guard. Maybe you take a chance on Keegan Murray, but I'm taking Jalen. I'm taking Jalen. 10 times out of 10 for
people
Sacramento.
Have Jalen Duren going at pick 12 in this draft, and you've done the high flyer at pick 4. I don't mind it. I would say pick 7 for him because I think someone's going to trade up. I don't know who it is. Someone is trading up to get him. I think it's OKC that get him in the end. That I've been saying it for a while. But at pick 4, dude, that is high.
I'm doing it. Unless Sacramento can find a way where they can trade down. No, because it is rumored that he is supposed to go down there. But if they don't have confidence that that's going to happen, and confidence that they can get a trade during the draft, to trade down, I'm picking them at 4. I'm not taking that chance because I've been looking at a couple of teams. There's a couple of teams in that top 10 that could right now use Jalen.
Yeah.
The Kings is one. Yeah. The Pacers is one. Detroit is one. The Blazers is definitely 100%. One, especially since Nurkic might leave. And to be honest, if I was San Antonio, I might even take it. I would take a chance on him in Washington, definitely.
Yeah.
But I'm taking a chance in the Hornets. If he can slip down.
Oh, that's what I've been saying. That would be lucky as if he slipped. There's no way in hell.
Yeah.
But the reason I don't think the Trailblazers will be one is because I feel like the only player they can rely to come back on cheap is Yusuf Nurkic. Like, I feel like Nurkic's value is really low around the league. He's done a lot for them. I know he's injury riddled, but I think they know they've got a guaranteed starting center. So that's where I think they'll look at a forward first. But at pick 4, I thought you were going to go Jaden Ivey. You said, I've mentioned this name earlier. I was like, oh, Jaden Ivey. I didn't think you would go with the high flyer, but I like the boldness. Could you imagine, though, all the people, I can imagine an Instagram post, everyone just saying L, most Sacramento Kings pick, It would be a high flyer.
Yeah, I mean, at first it might look bad, but 2, 3, 4 years down the line, people. I'm telling you, people, it's gonna change. The perspective is gonna change.
Yeah,
I think it would be worse for Sacramento to draft Jaden Ivey. That would be, in my personal opinion, that would be the L if Sacramento get Jaden Ivey, because they'd be getting another guard.
Well, the thing is, everyone has Jaden Ivey going at 4. I thought I was the only one who didn't have him going at 4. I actually am not drafting Jaden Ivey at 4. I don't think it makes him any sense, especially if they want to start old mate next year. What's his name? I forgot. Oh, Davion Mitchell. Especially if they want to start him. My pick, which I think I think he'll be the best role player in the draft. And look, you don't necessarily want to take a role player at pick 4, but I really like what I see out of this guy, and that is Keegan Murray. I think Keegan Murray would be a good move. You know what I mean?
I like it.
The reason I say Keegan Murray is because I don't think they have an established forward at the moment, because Harrison Barnes might be getting moved. I couldn't tell you who their power forward is. And what Keegan Murray does really well is he brings probably one of the best, I would say he's probably the best nearly, I think, perimeter defensive forward in this draft. He has an amazing 3-point shot. He can score really well. I think Sacramento, what they just haven't had is they keep drafting all these guards. Why not draft a forward that maybe does have star potential down the line, but right now he's a piece that actually comes in and helps you get to the playoffs, which you haven't been in 1,400 years. Go get Keegan Murray. He'll average you maybe 11 points per game in his first year, maybe 39% from 3, you're hoping, and good perimeter defense. And that's what, I'm taking that. And then you get to start Mitchell now at that 1. You got Fox now at the 2. Maybe Barnes stays around, and then you got Sabonis at the 5. And I think that's a good starting 5. You've got the pieces there. But the Duren move's growing on me. But how would Duren and Sabonis go together?
I think he would lower some of the pressure Sabonis would have to be defensively for Sacramento, because I do think next season they're going to rely heavily on Sabonis offensively, because they don't have a lot of consistent offensive players. And with them trading Buddy Hield as well as Tyrese Halliburton to get Sabonis, they're gonna need that. And because Holmes, even though he beat his situation, great shout out to him. But I do think they needed a little bit more consistent than him defensively.
Yeah.
And I think Rashard Holmes would be a great bench piece for them, a good role player, something to come off the bench and give him some energy.
I
think that'd be perfect. I think me personally, I think Jalen is good enough to actually start right away, get some development because of the pieces you have. And I just think Rashard Holmes, of course, you're going to give Rashard Holmes the most of the minutes, but I think start him and then let Rashard Holmes come up off of him with more minutes. I think that would work perfectly.
All right. Hold on a second. Oh, bloody hell, I needed to sneeze. That was coming in for a long time. I tried to pause I tried to pause the Zoom and it didn't even work, so I might just keep this in, I think. I don't even know. But who do you think the Detroit Pistons should take at pick 5? This is a tough one.
This is when I bring up Jaden Ivey.
Okay. All right.
I think this is when Jaden Ivey finally has the stock that he's had. Detroit is going to get the best available player. That's Jaden Ivey at this point on my list. Okay. Also, I think it makes sense for them as well because I think they will look for somebody that could potentially be a little bit more consistent to Killian Hayes. I know Killian Hayes had a better second half of the season. He showed that he can be a decent player, but I do not think Detroit is sold on him. Yeah. And because of that, I think Jaden Ivey would be a good piece for him. 6'4", 200 pounds. Yep. They comparing him to John Morant, D Wade. I think he would work well with Cade, how Cade plays the game. I think he works with that Detroit system. And I just think that's the only logical decision for them. Honestly.
I think it is too. Until I realized, hold on a second, there's another player out there that was at one point ranked as the number one player in the draft, has fallen down a little bit. Positional wise, I think fits the Pistons maybe a little better, and that's Shaedon Sharpe. 6'5", 6'6", wing player who can definitely, shot create, which is something I feel like the Pistons don't necessarily have. I feel like they need a shot creator to come in, and I was thinking Jaden Ivey, I don't know how much of a shot creator he necessarily is, and my thing is too, though, if you bring in Shaedon Sharpe, you give Killian Hayes another chance. Because as soon as you bring in Jaden Ivey, you automatically kill Killian Hayes' career in Detroit, I think. You make him a backup point guard that plays 20 minutes per game. If you bring in Shaedon Sharpe, then Killian Hayes is playing 27 minutes or more next season. And look, he did a hip flexor in his first year in the league, which is, I think, touted to be one of the worst injuries, if not the worst, you can pretty much do. I mean, players have barely ever recovered from it. Isaiah Thomas' career got ended from a hip flexor. It's pretty bad. But Killian Hayes, I don't know. I think if his defense hasn't seemed to slow down a whole lot, he does all that right. If he can get his offensive game going on, then that's really the thing that Killian Hayes lacks, right? Is just being able to shoot and all that type of stuff. He's got the defense there. His playmaking isn't half bad. I think Shaedon Sharpe, he shot creates really, really well. And what some people are saying is Shaedon Sharpe has the ability to be the best player in the draft. Legitimately nearly the best player in the draft if he puts it all together. I don't think he'll be good for the first, couple years of his career. But if you can get a dude that can eventually average over 20 points per game and do all that type of stuff, then I think that's a big win for Detroit. The issue I have, though, is Detroit have been known in the past to like defensive players more than offensive players. So that's where I think they might take Ivy, over him. But I don't know. They're also potentially losing Jeremy Grant next year, which means they'll be looking for a new power forward. But I think what's his name will just slot over to power forward. And then they'll be looking for a forward/wing. And that's where I think, Shaedon Sharpe would be an interesting one.
I like that. I would have never assumed you was going to pick him, honestly. That was a curveball for me.
It's different, isn't it?
That was a curve, yeah.
I feel like it's a risk Detroit might need to take, though. I mean, if they get Ivy, to me, the basketball in Detroit won't be that entertaining. If I was a Pistons fan, I'd rather see Shaedon Sharpe just chuck up shots and at least try and do something. But I don't know. I think Jaden Ivey's such a good player, but I think that the next team at pick 6 should be the team that gets Ivy. And that's the Indiana Pacers. That's the team I think needs to go Jaden Ivey because defensively, they've been such a defensive team for so long. I think they would rather play Halliburton at the 2 in the future. And could you imagine that duo defensively, Halliburton and Jaden Ivey? Stop. Just get out of here. That duo defensively would be insane. And they can both shoot threes decently. Ivy's not a great playmaker. That's where Halliburton comes in. I think Halliburton makes for the lack that Ivy doesn't. And I think that makes the most amount of sense for Indiana. Who do you have?
You've actually made me change who I wanted, but it's not Jaden Ivey. Originally, and it's a quick little swap.
Okay.
So a little teaser for the 7th, but I'm gonna actually go now with the 6th pick to compliment Tyrese Halliburton because I think Tyrese Halliburton could get the best of him. Oh, this is where I might draft.
Are you taking the early bird on Dyson Daniels?
Yes,
Whoa!
I am. Yes,
okay,
I am.
Okay.
I'm going all in. At first, I had Dyson Daniels a pick down. I had him going with the Blazers because I thought about it.
Ooh.
But now I'm thinking about both teams, and I'm gonna swap who I had 6 and 7. I think Dyson Daniels with Tyrese Halliburton will be entertaining. You have Dyson Daniels, who's 6'7". He's 195, 6'10" wingspan, shooter. He could I'm telling you, with Tyrese Halliburton, if Buddy Hield can work with Tyrese Halliburton, I think Dyson Daniels can too. They Pacers already said they all in with Miles Turner. We'll see for how long.
Yeah.
They got some decent pieces. They probably gonna move on with TJ Warren. They can make something happen with him. And I feel like they still got Malcolm Brogdon. So that they got a lot of capital down the line.
He's getting traded.
Yeah.
I don't know who for, but he's getting traded.
So I do think a Tyrese Halliburton and Dyson Daniels and Miles Turner team for right now would be very, very entertaining for Indiana. I think that would be something exciting to see.
Wow.
I'm all in with that.
So you've done a bit of a Sam Presti here. You're taking the Aussie at a lot higher than because some people have him. Like I personally, I think I've got him going at 10. And some people have him going at like 12 or 13. Yeah. There was a rumor the Cavs are looking at him on 14, and you've gone with him at pick number 6, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I got something special for the Cavs too, for sure. But I got him going 6.
Josh Giddey, the Aussie, went at pick 6 last year. Dyson Daniels, the Aussie, going at pick 6 this year. So there you go. I like that. I mean, supporting the country. I like it's good to see. But I like that move because I had them taking a point guard as well because I think he goes with Halliburton. But I feel like if Jaden Ivey is not on the board, like let's just say Sacramento and they take him at 4, which is very possible.
That would be bad.
You're looking now at a no point guard on the board, and that's where you would take Dyson Daniels, who, for those at home who don't know, terrific perimeter defender. He's a great rebounder as well, like a point guard that can definitely go and get the board, which I know a lot of people don't necessarily look at, but he's also got veteran experience now. Like he had the decision to play NBL for an Australian team or go and play in the G League. For some reason, he picked the G League. I'm not too sure why he went that route, but he did that, went and played for whatever that team was called and played against grown men. He has the same, experience as when LaMelo Ball and Josh Giddey played in the Australian League. RJ Hampton as well, playing that year, in front. He's done that. I think he'll jump into the NBA. His playmaking should improve. I think it's about 4.5 assists per game, which is not bad. Definitely better than Ivy, I think. And his perimeter defense is the thing that gets me. Like, it's one of the best, I think, in the draft as well. So I like that pick by you. I think that's really good. But pick 7, Portland. Who do you have?
Because you got me to swap.
Yeah, okay.
This is where I'm going with Keegan Murray.
Ooh, okay.
For some reason, Keegan Murray, I forgot the other person I said he's a hybrid with, but he reminds me of a lot of Kelly Oubre. And I think Portland can use an energy guy.
Yeah.
I think what I've seen with Keegan Murray, he's doing it all. Like, he really is doing it all at the power forward position. Energy, got the swagger. He got what you would expect from a Portland player. And yes, I agree. I do see like a very favorable role player like a Kelly Oubre, but I think that's what Portland needs, right? Because if these trade rumors is right, that Dame might potentially get maybe a Beal, maybe a DeAndre Ayton, or a Zach LaVine. I think he complements with any of those players I just named, and even if they don't get any of the 3, I think he complements a young gun and Fernie Simons that may be the successor of Dame. And I think that would be really, really exciting to see for Portland. I think that would be a great move for him.
I think Keegan Murray is the best fit for them, probably in like the whole draft. But as I said earlier, I think Keegan Murray is too good to drop down to 7. So I had him going at 4 because I think Sacramento are in a similar situation where Keegan Murray complements everyone they've got, similar to how he would complement everyone Portland have. So I do like it. I don't know. It's tough. That's a tough one. But to me, because, you've gone the power forward because it complements what they are kind of looking for. From what I've heard as well is I think they're going to be bringing in Jeremy Grant to be their power forward. I've heard that rumor. I think they'll be potentially bringing back Nurkic as well. Ayton's the interesting one. But as well as I think they will be finding a small forward, maybe like a TJ Warren, someone like that, So I was thinking one thing they will probably really need is some scoring off the bench. And that's why I've got them taking AJ Griffin at pick 7, 6'6" shot creator who will come in, regarded to be, other than Shane Sharp, probably the best shot creator nearly in the class. I think he's a bit more consistent than Shane Sharp at the moment. But I think a lot of people will argue about that one. But AJ Griffin, he brings a lot of scoring off the bench. He'll come in, probably average them around 13 to 14 points per game, I would assume, in his first season. Probably maybe a bit less because he's only a rookie. But I think the Portland Trailblazers will get their starting 5 in free agency, and they'll get their 6-man or their scoring in the draft. I think that's where they'll look at. People still forget they've got Josh Hart coming off the bench. That's pretty crazy that he's still there. Whether he gets traded or not will be a tough one. But yeah, I like this move. I think both players that we've got going on, they can't go wrong. You bring in Keegan Murray, he complements everyone that they sign or trade for. And then I think you bring in AJ, if you were to bring in AJ Griffin, he really does fill in that shot creating that I think they will definitely need somewhat off that bench. So yeah, any other compliments on Portland do you have, or is that it? Are we just going to yep?
I will say if they can't get because I do like Adrian Griffin, but I do think he might not. I don't think he's gonna get picked that high.
Yeah.
But if they don't get Adrian or they get Keegan Murray, I think another good player to eye would probably be like Mark Williams. I think they can use another.
At pick 7, I think they can use. Wow.
Yeah, I would try him out, but if they were to do that though,
Williams maybe.
That's why I was gonna go with that. I would draft down, try to get some more assets, because especially if you really are gonna do those other trades, you're gonna need it. And then I would get because if we're assuming Nurkic is probably, because I really think Nurkic is gonna go, they might try to get a sign and trade off with him. But I think for Portland, the positions you have to eye that's best available is small forward, power forward, center. This is where Portland has struggled to really satisfy in a very long time, especially once they lost to Marcus Aldridge. So I think, yeah.
If Jalen Duren's on the board, though, do they maybe look at him? Because remember, I still got Jalen Duren available.
If he's available, which I do, if he's available, like Portland has to take him.
Yeah.
Because I think he would be the best center, well, outside of Chad, but the best, like, just traditional center, while at the same time he's not even really traditional. He's a hybrid, like Dwight Howard. I think that's where he got that, like, because I think he's probably the best all-around defender at that center position.
Yeah.
He can score, he's stronger than most players. Like, he has probably the most relatable NBA body already. So if he falls, I think Portland, I see
Nurkic coming back, though. That's why I took AJ Griffin.
Really?
Yeah, I just think Nurkic, I think he'll come back. I don't see the offers being that, like, big for him. You know what I mean? Yeah, so as I was saying, though, I think Nurkic will, he should come back, because, as I said, I don't think he'll have many offers. I don't see a whole lot of teams being interested in Nurkic, considering how many injuries that guy has had. And from what I've heard, he likes it in Portland. So I think I don't know if they'll necessarily need a center, you know what I mean? Unless because like free agency, you can always look at like a JaVale McGee, which would be so awesome for their team. But yeah, I don't know if they need a center that like desperately, you know? So I wouldn't take Duren. Yeah, I would take AJ Griffin, who could he start with Damian Lillard and Simons? Maybe one day, but for right now, I think he could be a very, very good player to bring off their bench.
Yeah, I get. That's where I a little disagree, because that's where you got Nasir Little. Even though I know they pit him a little bit at the power forward sometimes, but I just do not think Portland really need Nurk. Like I do understand his value. His value is diminished because of his health, but I do not think re-signing him in any type of capacity will be in the best interest of Portland. I just don't see it. But
I can say that, yeah.
I understand where you're coming from. I just for Portland has if they want to make this clean, I think moving on with Nurkic would be the first.
Yeah,
first
fair
one.
enough. All right, pick number 8. Everyone, their dad's got someone different going at this pick. New Orleans. This is a really tough one. The way I see New Orleans going is they don't want a point guard. That's the way I see them going because I think they want to start CJ at point guard. He did so well there. They're stuck with what's his name now. Their contract. I forgot his name. I think you know who I'm talking. Devontae Graham, right?
Yeah,
He's
the point
got
guard,
like
from
3 years, 11 mil. I don't know if how many teams will want him. You're gonna have to bring him off the bench now. And then Zion, he obviously comes back, and I think they'll play him a lot as like the point forward. So I don't think they'll necessarily need a point guard, which makes me think that they'll probably need like a wing type of guy. And I got a lot of flack in the comments for not taking this guy higher. And I know there are people out there who've got this guy going at pick 7 and pick 6 even. And that's actually Johnny Davis. Now, I'm not too high on Johnny Davis, but at the same time, he has proven to be probably one of the most NBA ready out of a lot of players going in. His shot creation has been very good. His defense is pretty good for a guy that's 6'5", and he's shown the ability to be able to switch from 1 through 3. I think the Pelicans, who are a team that wants to compete right now, are probably thinking they need to take a guy that's probably ready, that's probably there. And I think Johnny Davis is maybe the guy that they look at. But as I said, I'm not too high on him. I don't rate him a whole lot. But I feel like it's something the Pelicans would do.
That's respectable. I actually agree. I do think if they do draft this pick, a wing, they have to draft a wing. That's the only position they somewhat need right now. I'm going Shaedon Sharpe for Mons. I think for the time being, I do think he helps out. It's kind of hard when you really like you said, when you look at Pelicans roster, you got Val, you got Jackson Hayes, you got Zion coming back, you got CJ, got Devontae Graham,
Brandon
you got
Ingram.
Herbert Jones, Brandon Ingram. So yeah, you have a lot of pieces that's not moving anywhere in terms of the rotation, especially the starting rotation, and you already kind of got your role players already set in stone now because of last season. So I guess a wing, I think that, I agree with you 100%. 100%.
I think, the reason I obviously didn't take Shaedon Sharpe is because I've got him going higher. But if the Pelicans can land him, that is a steal of the draft. It would be considered a steal. The other thing is this is a very tradable pick. This is a pick that teams will be looking to try and trade up to get to. Like, if Durant is on the board, the Thunder are trading up to this pick. That's the realism of things. It will be a pick that a lot of teams, I think, look at. And I think that's what Pelicans fans are aware of. I think anyone who's interested in the draft, we're all kind of aware of. And this is a tough one for us because, we really don't know if they're even going to be having this pick at the end of the day. But I guess, you're kind of going best available. I'm kind of just saying, who I think the Pelicans would kind of take. So it's a bit of a weird one. But pick 9, the Spurs. I want to hear you go first on the Spurs because I've got a player going at this pick who has already been taken on your board. So,
oh yeah, because Mons, this player has not been taken, and it was kind of hard for me because it was like I automatically eliminated guards from the conversation, and I'm just thinking who would be the closest San Antonio type player since Pop is still as a coach, and it took me watching a lot of his just games to really just be all right, he might be the guy. With this pick, I'm going with Jeremy Sochan for the San Antonio Spurs.
Who was it? Sorry,
Jeremy Sochan.
Jeremy Sochan. Where's he projected to go? Because that's like not even a name that I've really heard
or
much
Sokin,
of.
Jeremy Sokin or so. Yeah.
Wow.
Actually he's from Baylor. He's from Baylor, 6'9" power forward, 230.
Wow. He must be a first player because I don't even have him in my lottery at the moment. So
yeah. I think this pick actually may be consistent with a lot of the draft lotteries I have actually seen. They do have Jeremy going here to San Antonio. I can see why I think he is a San Antonio type of player. Yeah, and I think he actually might fall to that pick. I don't think he's moving anything higher or anything lower, unless trading happens. But yeah, I think Jeremy might actually be who they go for.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, that's not even a name that I've really heard of or researched. Like, I feel like doing the NBA drafts, because mine is obviously like a couple of weeks old. When I, scouted and did all that type of stuff, that wasn't a name that really was around, I don't think. So he might have flown up a little bit. The dude that I've got going, who I don't know if he'll go at this pick, because I feel like someone's going to trade up to like pick 8 or 7 and get him. And that is, of course, the man, the myth, Jalen Duren. I think would be so perfect for the San Antonio Spurs. They've got Jakob Poeltl there at center. They've got Jock Landale, who can play a bit of power forward as well. He's a really nice minimum type player that I think some teams might look to trade for. And then I think, you'll have, I think, Duren coming in, and they finally get like their established young starting center. I think Poeltl might start for a little bit more, but Duren, I think, would start eventually down the line. Like, again, 6'10", 6'11" center compared to Dwight Howard. He's an absolute beast in the making. And is he a Spurs pick? Maybe not. This could be finally the year where they take a player that's not like a really random out of the blue type guy. And yeah, I think he would be such a good pick for them to take. But yours is interesting to me because I don't know really anything about him, so I might have to do some research on that player.
Yeah, he's a cool player. He's probably the most traditionally sound at his position out of all the players.
Yeah.
But I like your pick too, because if San Antonio get him, that would bring some well-needed excitement in San Antonio.
Yep.
Well-needed.
Pick number 10, the Wizards. Who do you have going?
This is where I pick Johnny Davis.
Okay.
This is where I pick Johnny Davis because they need a guard. they need a like. Even if Bradley Beal stays, which may actually be likely, the more and more rumors I hear, they need another guard. They need a point guard or two, but they really need a point guard. Because I was looking at their roster, I'm like, dang, they really don't got no.
Yeah, no, they
anymore.
might just play Bradley Beal as like the point guard again. I feel like that's what they kind of did last season. So,
but the problem, I don't want Bradley Beal running the one at all. Because they kind of, like you said, they tried that and that wasn't really successful. It wasn't because that's not what Bradley Beal does. He's not I know we've made James Harden do this, and it kind of changed the game because he was like, all right, maybe we can make some more score first guards into like a little, kick out passer, maybe get 6-7 assist type of player. But I really don't think Bradley Beal fits the mold to really do that. I think Bradley Beal needs a player that could potentially get him like a John Wall. Really, really. This is because if you want to be real, Bradley Beal had his best success with an actual playmaking John. So I
then there was Westbrook. We gotta remember that. Sure, that was a bit of a unlucky.
Yeah,
Westbrook is a recipe for disaster at this point. Lakers want to keep him though. That's apparently what's going on is Lakers want to keep Russell Westbrook.
They don't want to keep him. They just can't find nobody to take that $30 million plus contract.
Yeah,
is imposters.
That is fair. Pick 10 though, I have Dyson Daniels going. I think Dyson Daniels he would fit the Washington Wizards so much. I don't have him going the early bird like you do. I don't think a team will do that much because I don't think his offensive game has that much upside. But when it comes to the Wizards, he would bring in the thing that they probably need the most, perimeter defense. They desperately need that. Not only does he bring in perimeter defense, but he also is a very, very tall point guard. And again, they need a point guard. They might need some height in there. His offensive game isn't necessarily there at the moment. His playmaking is a little bit all over the place. But I mean, if he comes in and averages the 4.5, 5 assists in his first season, doesn't worry about scoring. Like if he averages 8 points per game, right? Who cares? As long as he defends that perimeter and play makes, then you're looking at something special over there. You'd have him at the 1, Beal at the 2, Avdiya at the 3, Kuzma at the 4, and at the 5 you would have Kristaps. Of course, interior defense is going to be pretty crappy at times. Perimeter defense is even. I don't even know if I like it that much, but bringing in Dyson Daniels will definitely help out quite a bit there as well. I think it's a perfect pick for Washington. I don't know if they can get more of a better player to come in than him. So, yeah, that's respectable.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Johnny Davis is good, though, too, because they do need a guard. But if they bring in Davis, does that mean Beal goes to the 1, or do they bring Davis off the bench?
They bring Johnny Davis off the bench.
Yeah.
Because they're not going – because I would not, and I repeat, I would not have Bradley Beal have the mindset to have a playmaking role. I do not think that works.
Yeah.
I do not. I think they actually get worse as a team. Honestly, with that play style.
By the way, I feel like I know who you're going to have the Cavs picking now, because I was just remembering a little chat that we had the other day, and you seemed to get awfully excited about a certain player. So I don't know if I'll be proven wrong about this one, but yeah, with pick 11 though, on this mock draft that I'm reading right now, they've got Jalen Duren going at pick 11 to the Knicks. That's interesting. I feel like that's a little low. I feel like he should be way higher than pick 11. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one. Pick 11, though, to the New York Knicks. I've got Benedict Mathurin, who on this one is projected at 9.
This one was hard for me, too.
Yeah. Mathurin, though. Do you have him going at pick 11 as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I saw going on with Benedict Mathurin was he was a really good defender that could guard 1 through 3, also has a really good 3-point ball. I feel like if the Knicks are certain on Tom Thibodeau, which for some reason it looks like they are, he wants defenders and defenders only. Mathurin is a dude that can guard 1 through 3. Could maybe even play small ball 4 in the league as well. Don't think they'll try that. But again, he's got the defensive game there. They also need 3-point shooting. Their catch and shoot 3-point shooting is very lacking in the NBA. And I think he kind of fills in 2 of their biggest needs, other than maybe finding a solidified center and figuring out what the hell they're going to do at power forward next year. So that's why I've got him going. Why do you have Benedict going at pick 11?
The exact same reason. Because honestly, I've seen some mock drafts that was, like you said, they was trying to get centers. And one of them was Jalen. The only problem I had with that, even though I could I can kind of see it, is what are you doing with Mitchell Robinson? Like what are you like if you get him, does that mean Mitchell Robinson is gone?
I think Mitchell Robinson is going either way, to be honest.
Really?
I have a feeling it's time for both parties to move on.
That's understandable. Yeah.
Where the Knicks go at center will be the remaining question. But yeah, you've raised your hand on the Zoom. Do I have to answer a question here? It's saying Relly Hall has raised his hand.
I keep doing that. I'm trying to stop, but I'm like, dang, why do I see the little? I'm like, I know why. I know why.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we both agree this is good. This is one of the first picks we've like fully agreed on because we've tried to, all of our players are going in different spots. But and it's weird. It's come at pick 11 too. Like this is a pick we should maybe not be taking the same player up. But yeah, Benedict Mathurin at pick 11 is good to me. Now pick 12, OKC. This is the pick probably in the lottery that doesn't matter because at the end of the day, OKC are going to try 100% to try and trade up. I could see them trading into next year's draft and just stacking in and like really going hard at the like top 10 lottery next year. This is a tough one because I don't necessarily know if OKC, I don't know if they've got a player that they want at pick 12 because I think they want to trade up. But if they were to stay at pick 12, I've got another NBL player going on here. I think it's the first NBL player in this draft, though.
I think we got the same player again.
Yeah, Ousmane Dieng to OKC.
Yeah.
I think Sam Presti has a bit of a history now with taking Australian league players, the NBL players. Even though Ousmane played for New Zealand, that is in the same league as the NBL, in the same, thing right there. He took Josh Giddey from the Adelaide 36ers last year. I think he'll go and look at the New Zealand Breakers now, and he'll take Ousmane Dieng, who I don't actually think is Australian or from New Zealand. I think he's French, actually. I think he just got picked up in the Australian League. He averages pretty good points per game. He's played against veterans and older players now. He's a 6'10" guy that can play small forward, which is, you don't see, I think, a whole lot in the NBA anymore. And his defense seems to be a little bit all over the place, but I think it will come in handy soon. I think it's, OKC, he just probably is an experienced forward that comes into the team. I don't know. It's a tough pick, but I feel like it's who they take.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. The only thing I didn't like about him is the fact that they compared him to Kyle Anderson, which
I did say that, yeah.
But I do like his like his size. Like he's a 6'9", 7-foot wingspan, small forward. I can really see OKC doing it. That's why I think Chet would make sense, would be 100%. I can see why they would be 100% in with Chet because, why get Jabari Smith if I know I can get a small forward later down in this draft at a decent height, which is more than ever in this draft in particular.
Yeah.
So I cannot. Yeah.
Someone made the argument though that Ousmane did not help the New Zealand Breakers win any games, and they finished last though. And where I give a big middle finger to that statement is LaMelo Ball played for the Illawarra Hawks, and they, I think, won like 2 or 3 games out of the 10 he played there. And they finished, I think they finished second last, and he ended up going top 3, and look what he did in the NBA. Then you've got RJ Hampton, who in the same year played for the New Zealand Breakers, the same team Ousmane's playing for, and I think they finished last. So, I don't know. I don't think an NBL record should display what a player's talent is. So I don't like that call at all by people. I think that shouldn't destroy Ousmane Dieng's draft goals. OKC, they've looked at the NBL for a lot of players now. I think this will be their next in line. So I like this pick. With pick 13, though, the Charlotte Hornets. Can we go 3 for 3, Relly? Can we go 3 for 3? Should you want me to start off first, or?
Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to go 3 for 3, but start off.
All right.
I don't think we are.
With the 13th overall pick, I have the Charlotte Hornets selecting Mark Williams.
Yeah.
Because the reason I've got them taking Mark Williams is because I think, even though he's probably projected to go at pick 16 or 17 at this point, I think they desperately need a center. I don't know what they're doing with Plumlee. Plumlee has value around the league, which I think is a little bit, it's like that, but teams would offer a couple seconds and something for him, right? He's a very good backup center. He's not a starting caliber center. I think the Charlotte Hornets are going to want to trade him in a first round pick to bring in a starting center. Well, they'll probably go for a Miles Turner if they can try and make that happen. then they'll be looking for a backup, in my opinion. And I think Mark Williams is a very big project player, but he's a 6'10" dude that is exceptionally great at getting rebounds. He can defend the interior pretty well. He's just not great at a whole lot of other things yet. But in my opinion, he's a project player that I think the Hornets might reach on, and I think it fills out their probably biggest need at the moment. But obviously, my opinion is a bit different than yours at the moment.
I'm just going to say, once we get to 15, it might get a little funny. But
wait,
because I know the Hornets...
What are we stopping at? Because I was probably going to stop at 14. That's where I've kind of...
Okay, so I will tell you my 15, right?
All right. Well, yeah, give
I actually had Mark Williams 15 because Hornets actually have the 15th pick as well. I see.
No,
we was close.
We were so close.
Yeah, it was for the exact same reason.
Yeah,
but that's why I dropped him down because project player, DeAndre Jordan comparison. They do need something in replacement of Plumlee just in case he gets hurt because he hasn't been the most consistent health-wise. Montrezl Harrell, I don't think you're double downing on him as a starting caliber center.
I've got to talk about Montrezl Harrell with you a bit later too because I was wondering if he would be a player the Cavs would target. So I might have to write that down for us to maybe talk about a little later.
Oh, yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I do agree But for me, the 13th pick, I think the Hornets should draft Adrian Griffin Jr.
Oh, he's still on your board. Wow.
Yeah, I've drafted him, and I've drafted him because, ironically, for the exact same reason why I would get Mark Williams at 15 for Plumlee, I'm getting Adrian Griffin Jr. for replacement of Gordon Hayward just in case. Yes, Gordon Hayward had a really great season, truth be told, and he went down literally at the end. He could not stay healthy at literally the very tail end. And because Gordon Hayward has a history of potentially getting hurt, I think Adrian Griffin Jr. would be the best successor to that. Small forward, great build, 6'6", 200. He's still got a lot to grow in my personal opinion. 7 feet wingspan. He got the potential. And he can, I think he can kind of, and he can kind of suppress some of the stuff you're losing for Gordon Hayward if he gets hurt. And I think Gordon Hayward would be probably one of the best players to kind of help him grow as well. Because I think in a way they have a very similar game, especially a younger Gordon Hayward in Utah. But yeah, I think that'd be perfect.
When you say all of that though, because like I'm thinking now, the Cavaliers are one pick away from, because you've got him going all the way down to 13. Imagine if he dropped to 14 to the Cavs. That would have been a pretty big steal for us, I think. But yeah, I had AJ Griffin on all the way at pick 7. I think he's that good. I don't know. Maybe he might drop though. Maybe you're right. Might be a bit ambitious on him.
I think he's talented. I just don't know how high other teams see him because it don't seem the same. Like from what I've said, it don't seem the same. Maybe we've seen shockers. We've also like you said with Sam Presti, we've seen how hungry he is to move up. So maybe he moves up and he snags them because he likes gems. Shoot, Denver might do it. They've been a fan of gem type players. So it's possible. But if let's assume nothing happens, I think this is probably,
Denver are looking at trading a bunch of players too. There's rumors they're looking to trade Aaron Gordon. So they might be looking to trade. Yeah. They were saying the Cavs were linked to him at one stage, and I thought that was a terrible move for us. So he was listed as one of the players we would be interested in this offseason by, I think it was Chris Fedor. And he's like the highest of the high. So I don't know. There is talks that they're moving on from Gordon though. So they might look to try and trade up. I don't even know what pick the Nuggets even have. Pick 21. So yeah, I guess that's, pretty decent. But it's interesting. Yeah, I got Mark Williams going to the Hornets, and so do you. You've just got him at a different pick.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. So with the last pick, this won't be the last pick we'll talk about because I want to, actually we kind of got your pick 15 thoughts and opinions. But I want to hear who you've got going to the Cavs at like the other picks because you've been talking to me like you've been researching those other picks going on right now. I haven't,
Yeah.
so I want to hear your thoughts. But at pick 14, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the team myself and Relly both go for, I've got Ochai Agbaji going at pick 14. He's a 22-year-old small forward / shooting guard, 6'5", maybe a little short, but a dude that can guard 1 through 3, really good perimeter defender, and a really, really good three-point shooter. I think defensively fits in what JB wants. Offensively, he adds that three-point shooting that I think we'll desperately need, especially considering Dylan Windler is a certified bum and Isaac Okoro can't shoot, and Jetty Osman's probably getting traded. So we need some three-point shooting, and I think Ochai would be absolutely perfect. 22 years of age, ready to come in and help us contend as well. And his scoring had gotten better as well. So I think he'd be the perfect player for us to take. But I feel like you've got someone different because you've been talking in the chat about a certain player. So let me see if I'm correct here. Who do you got going?
I'm going with the player who they project as the second or third best small forward in this draft. I'm going with the 6'8", 217-pound small forward from LSU, Tari Eason.
Yeah, that's who I thought you were going to go with.
I'm going, and it's crazy because I was going to go Ochi. I was kind of all in with him. But then I was like, man, do we really need another 6'5" player? And, and I can understand, and realistically, honestly, I think, and realistically in the draft, I think Cleveland might actually go your route and they would draft him. But I personally think Tari Eason might be the player we should actually go after, mainly because of what he brings, like his body size. Now, I know a lot of people might argue, what's the difference between him and Isaac Okoro? I think he's a better playmaker, and I think he has a better potential to shoot the ball better from the perimeter.
Tari Eason or Ochai, or both?
Tari Eason, in particular. The only problem I've seen with Tari Eason, which may stray a lot of people away, is that sometimes he makes bad playmaking decisions. Sometimes. But the reason why I'm kind of like thinking that can be suppressed is because of how DG depressed. And because I feel like DG is going to have most of the ball handling anyway, I think that would take that away from him. But, I can understand why someone would be like, nah, like that, but I do think Tari Eason is, I'm all in with Tari Eason. I'm not going to lie. Unless somebody slipped down, I think Tari Eason. Malachi would be a good option too. But Tari Eason, I'm all
Tari
in.
Eason, though, is he a guy that could fall down in the draft? Because I remember a lot of people last year had Jalen Johnson going at like pick 13, pick 14, and he fell down to like 20-something where the Hawks drafted him and like didn't play him. Is Tari Eason, though, could he be a guy that falls down what we maybe try and trade up for or something? Or could a Chai do it? Because on this mock draft that I'm looking at, they do have Eason going at 15 and Chai fallen all the way down to pick 17, which is crazy to me.
It has been mock drafts where Tari Eason at the very least would drop to 18 or wherever the Rockets was. I think that's 18 or 17. But that's the lowest they going because he is. I think he is the second best or third best small forward in that draft. And I can honestly see why. The size, the creativity, the finishing, the athleticism. Yes, he needs the improvement on shooting as well as his IQ at times. Don't get me wrong, but I just think he has the most potential based off of what he can do and his body type. Like when people like say that, like particularly like the Giannis type of players or those Marvin Bagley type of players or those type of players, I can understand with him why they would say that because realistically he would be the most realistic player to be a starting caliber small forward if developed.
Yeah.
But the caveat is he could be a taller Isaac Okoro with just slightly better playmaking. So it's like I understand the strengths and the weaknesses here with Terry Eason.
So I do like that though. I think I wouldn't be like ashamed if the Cavaliers picked either one, to be honest. But watch them pick like Mark Williams or something. I wouldn't be happy with that. I don't think they'll do that. I would hope not, at least.